So you want to be a glass cannon. Now, if you don't know what a glass cannon is, essentially you're going to be doing a lot of damage but not have a lot of survivability. Now that might sound bad to some people, but the way it's supposed to work is you do so much damage, you kill everything before the enemies can even damage you. What's up guys, in this build I'm going over my elemental control Amara build that I made a while ago. This was the first build I ever made before the game even came out, and the last iteration of this build I made was 3 months ago. So I figured let's update this build to make it Mayhem 10 worthy, and I gotta tell you, it is very good. Now as always, my builds are located in my Discord channel if you'd like to download them. The link for that will be in the description, and it's going to be under the save files tab. So if you download the build, enjoy the video, or find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. But with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, starting off with the gear, as you can see we have all the new gear from the update and the cartel event. And these weapons are actually very good, and I would highly recommend using these over some other weapons that we previously been using. Now starting off, we have the OPQP system right here. This is by far one of my favorite guns in the game now. It is insanely good and it can shred through mobs. It can also do boss damage as well, but I have other things in the build for that. But the OPQ system is absolutely disgusting for mobbing. Now as you see on mine, I have an anoint while under 50% health we deal 150% bonus radiation damage. Now this is really good, and I'm going to skip down into the shield really quick because this is what's playing around the whole build. If you can't tell, we are using the front loader shield. This is basically going to reserve 60% of your max health and return it to your shield capacity. So since 60% of your health is being reserved, that means this anoint is always going to be procced. You're always going to be doing the damage with the gun plus the 150% bonus radiation damage at all times. It is very good, and the front loader is a huge part of this build. Now also with the OPQP system, we're going to be doing every single element, and you might think, well, how can you do every element since the base of it is kinetic? Well, if you don't know, this gun actually, when you shoot, not only does it do an insane amount of damage, it also creates shock novas every time you consistently hit an enemy. So this gun alone is doing kinetic damage, the shock damage from the nova, the radiation damage from the anoint, our anoints on our shield and grenade, plus some of our skills. We're going to be doing every single element plus kinetic, and it is actually crazy. Now going on to the next gun, I'm using a reflex. This is essentially a better corrosive brainstormer. It is very good for ad clear, and it is also very good for killing things like the Valkyrie squad on the last phase. This alone can straight up just demolish groups of enemies. And as you see, we also have an anoint on it where under 50% health to get 150% bonus radiation damage. Again, that's playing with our front loader right here. So we're always going to be doing corrosive damage, and we're always going to be doing that bonus radiation damage. It is insanely good. The radiation is just going to strip shields off, and the corrosive is just going to destroy armor targets. Now the next gun we have is the yellow cake. Not much needs to be said about the yellow cake. If you pay attention to all aspects of this community, we all know the yellow cake is just ridiculous. Now this one is a ×2 variant with the anoint where we get 300% increased damage when the enemy is under 90% health. This is just insanely good for bossing. You can straight up just destroy everything, especially with the first shot. Like if you get the first shot angled right, you're pretty much going to one-shot most bosses in the game, and it is actually crazy. Then I have a Sandhog right here with the anoint where we do 150% bonus radiation damage from below 50% health. Once again, playing with the front loader. And this is going to be your gun for killing Grave Ward. Almost in every build, everybody includes a gun to kill Grave Ward. So this is that, and it shreds him like crazy. Now moving on to the shield, as I said before, 3 times we are using the front loader. Now I have every single ASC anoint on the front loader. So this is going to allow you to take whatever element you want and whatever you're doing. Then I have an It's Piss grenade right here, plus 4 other grenades with all the ASC anoints on them. I like to use cryo and corrosive because mainly I do the takedown for the most part, especially when I'm testing builds out. And the cryo and corrosive is going to make the OPQP system do every single element plus kinetic, like I was mentioning earlier. Then for the class mod, I have a phase archer where we get 18% weapon critical damage, 24% weapon magazine size, and 45% Atlas critical damage. This is stupid good on something like the OPQP system, and it just demolishes everything. Now I'm also including this one right here, so we get 51% dual weapon critical hit damage. So if you want to fight Grave Ward and make it a little easier, you can put that on with the Sandhog. And finally, for the artifact, I have a Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge where we get 12% more fire rate and 50% more magazine size. Now the Pearl of Knowledge is going to be stupid good on the OPQP system, and the fire rate just makes it even better. Now getting into the skills, we're going to be focused on Fist of Elements and Mystical Assault, but starting in Fist of Elements, we're putting 5 points in Infusion to get 40% of our damage converted to our active skill element, and that is going to be Incinerary. Now going back to OPQP system real quick, we're doing kinetic damage, radiation damage because of the Anoint, Incinerary damage because of Infusion and Forceful Expression. Then we have Cryo right here, and then Corrosive right here. So all 5 elements plus kinetic on one OPQP system. I can't stress that enough, that it is insanely good, and plus all the damage bonuses with critical hit damage right here, and then just the bonus damage from the Pearl of Knowledge. It is disgusting. It is very, very good. Then I have 3 points in Steady Hands right here to buff our handling by 32%, accuracy by 31%. Just generally a good skill from Amara, plus you had to get down to the bottom. Now I have 5 points in Anima to buff our status effect damage and duration. This is another just pretty good skill to have for Amara. It's actually insanely good on something like the Yellow Cake, because as you see, the Yellow Cake has 30,000 damage per second of radiation. So this is making that status effect last a lot longer, plus the damage is a lot better. Now on this, especially on things like Wotan, when you get down to the part where he has 2 shields, and especially with the Anoint on that we have on the gun, you can straight up just shoot Wotan like one time, and then he goes into his immunity phase, and it's just going to keep eating his shields down constantly, and you don't even have to worry about shooting him, which is just beyond crazy. The next, I have 5 points of Tempest to buff our elemental damage. If we already wasn't doing enough, we're doing more now. Then 1 point Dread to buff our damage when we phase grasp an enemy, and obviously we're going to be using Ties that Bind and Allure to basically make our crowd control insanely easy. And we can always have our action skill up a lot, since Allure does not take action skill cooldown from you. Now on top of that, Dread is also going to reload your gun when you kill a phase grasp target, which is really good. Then I have 1 point Deep Wall to buff our magazine size by 20%. This is going to help out all the other weapons, not really so much on the OPQP system, but the other weapons we're getting buffed magazine, which is really good. And it's actually really good on something like the Reflex, because I have a ×14 variant with only 6 shots, but with something like our Phaserker and our Knowledge, this is going to buff it to 10, and that 20% buffs it to 11. So obviously consuming 2 ammo per shot, we're actually going to have an extra shot just because of 1 skill point, and it's very, very good. Then I have 3 points Indiscriminate right here to make our bullets ricochet. It's very, very good on every single Amara build. Just ricocheting your bullets to do a lot more ad clear is very good, and it's going to play in with the crowd control theme of the build. Now you see we're not taking sustainment, and we're actually going to be putting 2 points in Catharsis right here. I never thought I would say that, but this right here is basically going to let you blow your enemies up every 8 seconds, and based on whatever element you have applied to them. So again, on something like the OPQP system, doing all 5 elements, you're going to be blowing all those elements up on one enemy, and it is very, very cool on top of the radiation explosion already. Now if you wanted to take some points out and put it in sustainment, you could do this. Now like I said, this is a glass cannon build, so we're focusing on like no survivability at all, and sustainment, it doesn't help out an extreme amount since you only have a small amount of health, since you are using the front loader. Now like I said, the survivability of this build is based around killing everything. Now this build is all around doing a lot of damage, so you can kill everything really quick, and you can crowd control everything with these skills right here. But now if that's not enough for you, like I said, if you want to take the risk and put some in sustainment to help regen a little bit, especially when your shield goes down, you could do that. Then Forceful Expression, as I already went over, we have bonus elemental damage and 80% of our damage dealt, which is very good. Now going into Brawl really quick, I have 3 points of personal space. We get 36% more damage the closer we are to an enemy. Now this skill pretty much is always proc because of the radius on it. It is insanely good, and it's always a nice skill to have for 3 points. Then finally, going into Mystical Assault, we have 3 points in Fast Hands right here to buff our reload speed, weapon slot speed, motion speed. Motion speed actually is pretty good because on the OPQP system, you can shoot a copy of the gun out, so you can swap back and forth really quick. And reload speed, weapon slot speed is always really nice to have. Then 1 point Do Harm, 1 point Violent Tapestry, so we can get our rush stacks and help keep them up. And we got to get down to the bottom somehow. Then I have 5 points of Restless right here, get 25% more cooldown rate. Now the reason I'm taking this is because we don't have cooldown rate on either of our class mod or artifact, so this is going to help with the cooldown of our phase grasp. Then I have 3 points in Transcend right here to buff our accuracy by 38% and critical hit damage by 27%. Again, very good skill to have. Phase grasp enemy, and you can just straight up beam an enemy and just destroy him. Then I have 5 points on Alacrity right here to buff our reload speed per rush stat we have. This is just an insanely good skill to have for Amara. The reload speed you get is ridiculous, especially when you pair it with something like Fast Hands. It's just crazy good. Then I have 1 point Ascendant to buff our lure radius about 100%, so we can pull enemies in a lot closer to the phase grasp. And also, even if you're not pulling them in, the lure is also just making them go everywhere so they're not shooting you, and that is very good on itself since you're trying to crowd control everybody. Then I have 3 points of Firm Rest right here to get 12% more fire rate. The charge speed doesn't matter whatsoever, but the fire rate is going to stack on top of our artifact right here, so we're getting 24% more fire rate, which is just ridiculous on something like the OPQP system, and it is crazy good. Then I have 3 points in Wrath right here to buff our gun damage of 20% and then 20% more after using an action skill. Again, just another generally very good skill for Amara. When we use our phase grasp, we're getting Wrath proc, Transcend proc, and Dread proc to all do a lot more damage. Then to keep proccing our action skill, we have Avatar, so we can use it twice for cooldown, and we get 10 more rush stacks, which is in return giving us more cooldown rate and damage thanks to the phase zerker. And you can straight up just destroy anything you want to and crowd control every single person on the battlefield. So that is the skills to this build. As you can tell, this build is heavily focused on elemental damage and being able to kill everything insanely quick. Now, I know glass cannon builds are not fun for some people, but I also know a lot of people enjoy them. But I can assure you, if you're playing safely enough and using your phase grasp correctly, you will not die with this build because you can kill everything insanely quick. Even if you don't have targets phase grasp, the OPQP system itself alone, just hitting crits is gonna kill everything. Now, for the Mayhem mode modifiers, I was using nothing to influence the damage at all. I was using roguelite, so I wouldn't enter fight for my life, so I would get no damage bonuses right there. Plus I got Chain Gang on and Healthy Avenger, so that is in no way influencing my damage whatsoever. And Speed Demon is only making me move faster, and I'm not using a spiritual driver to buff that damage in itself anyway. So nothing there is letting me do more damage with this build in any way, and that should just show you the sheer power of this build. Speed Demon does help out a lot with survivability because you could just run away from most enemies shooting at you, but it is not needed since you are crowd controlling everything on the battlefield pretty much at all times. So just recapping really quick, your main mobbing weapons is the OPQP system and the reflux, and then for bossing you're going to be using the yellow cake, and then specifically on things like Grave Ward you have the Sandhog. Most all your guns have the Anoint where under 50% health you're getting 150% bonus radiation damage, and that's always going to be proc to something like the front loader. Then all your skills are going to help out with your damage, your cooldown rate, being able to crowd control everyone, and doing even more elemental damage than you were before. But that is it. That is going to do it for the build. I really hope you guys enjoy. As I said in the beginning of the video, my build is located in my Discord channel if you would like to download it. The link for the Discord is in the description, and it is in the save files tab. So if you download the build, enjoy the video, or find it helpful in any way, remember be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers. Seriously, thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving me on the channel lately, and there's definitely more to come. But that's going to do all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.